Finding your purpose. The reason your soul refuses to quit. Uncovering the unique thread that only you can weave into the world. Purpose is not a destination you arrive at. It is a direction you align with. And when you find it, everything in your life stops competing and starts cooperating. There is a feeling I want to describe. And as I describe it, I want you to notice whether it is familiar. Not something you can name easily. Not something visible from the outside. Not something anyone around you would necessarily notice. But something internal. A persistent sense that there is a version of you that is fully alive, fully engaged, fully in alignment with what you were actually put here to do, and that the version living your current life is not quite it. You have tried to ignore it. You have tried to medicate it with achievement, with distraction, with busyness. You have told yourself you are being ungrateful, or impractical, or unrealistic. But it keeps coming back. That quiet, urgent, undeniable pull towards something you cannot fully name yet. I want to tell you what that feeling is. That is your purpose, knocking on the door of your life. And today, we are going to open the door. Before we can find something, we need to clear away the false pictures of it we have been carrying. Because those false pictures are often the very reason people spend years looking for purpose and keep walking right past it. There are 3 major myths about purpose that are keeping people stuck, and I want to dismantle each one carefully, because the freedom that comes from seeing through these myths is itself a form of liberation. Myth 1. Purpose is one big, dramatic calling that thunders from the sky. The truth. Purpose is rarely delivered as a single revelation. More often it emerges gradually, through accumulated experience, through moments of unusual engagement, through loss that redirects attention, through the quiet recognition of a pattern in what consistently moves you. The cultural narrative around purpose has made it almost impossibly grand. Your purpose, the singular thing, the one calling that arrives with clarity and certainty and reorganizes your entire life into perfect, luminous sense. And because of this narrative, millions of people spend decades waiting for thunder that never comes. And when the thunder does not arrive, when no unmistakable revelation appears, they draw the most dangerous possible conclusion. The false conclusion: I must not have a purpose. I must be one of the ordinary ones, the background people, the ones not destined for anything significant. This conclusion is not just wrong. It is one of the most costly lies a person can believe, because it causes people to stop looking, stop listening, stop paying attention to the signals that are actually present, quietly, persistently, trying to get their attention. Purpose is not a thunderclap. Purpose is a slow sunrise. It does not arrive all at once in blinding clarity. It emerges inch by inch as you move toward it, first as a feeling, then as a direction, then as a conviction, and finally, after time and the courage to keep going even when you cannot see the whole road, as a calling so clear you wonder how you ever missed it. But it requires one thing. You have to be paying attention. And most people are too busy or too convinced they already know the answer to notice what is actually being shown to them. Myth 2. Purpose is found by sitting still and thinking hard enough. The truth. Purpose is not a fixed object waiting to be located by sufficient reflection. It is revealed through movement, through action, through engagement with the world. You do not find it by thinking. You find it by living faithfully and paying attention to what calls you. People talk about finding their purpose the way you find a lost wallet, as if it is in a fixed location, waiting for you to look in the right place at the right time. But purpose does not work that way. Purpose is not a thing you find. Purpose is a thing you grow into. It is a direction that becomes clearer as you move, not as you wait. This is why the most purposeful people are rarely the ones who spent the most time philosophizing about their purpose. They are the ones who stayed curious, engaged, and willing, who kept saying yes to what called them, kept serving where they could, kept paying attention to what emerged from that practice. You do not find purpose the way you find a destination on a map, by plotting the coordinates before you begin. You find it the way you find your way through a dark room, by taking the next careful step and letting the path reveal itself as you move. Myth 3. Purpose is reserved for extraordinary, specially gifted, or famously impactful people. The truth: every human being who has ever lived has a purpose the world specifically needs. Not just the leaders and artists and entrepreneurs. The teacher, the parent, the friend who stays, the person whose quiet faithfulness creates an atmosphere of trust wherever they go. These are not small purposes. These are the purposes that hold the world together. This myth is the most quietly devastating of the three because it sounds humble. It dresses itself as realism, and it whispers to people who are already uncertain about their worth. The disqualifying whisper: purpose is for people who are more gifted, more chosen, more extraordinary than you. You are ordinary, and ordinary people do not have callings. They just have lives. This is a lie, and I want to confront it with something real. Think about the teacher who made one child feel genuinely seen for the first time. Not a famous teacher, not a published author. Just a teacher who showed up with consistency and care and believed in a child that everyone else had written off. That child grew up with a different understanding of their own worth. And what they built from that foundation rippled into communities and families and generations that the teacher will never meet. Think about the parent who chose, in the grinding ordinariness of daily life, to love sacrificially, to show up consistently, to model what integrity looks like when no one is watching, and whose children therefore have a completely different starting point for their own lives and relationships. Think about the friend who did not leave when everyone else did, who sat in the hospital room, who answered the phone at midnight, who said, "I am not going anywhere," and whose faithfulness became the thing another person built their survival on. These are not background lives. These are the architecture of the world. These are the purposes that make the celebrated purposes possible. Do not disqualify yourself from the conversation before it begins. Your purpose is real, it is needed, and the world has been waiting for it longer than you know. Over years of studying this question, reading every serious thinker who has wrestled with it, listening to hundreds of stories of people who found their purpose and people still searching, I have noticed a pattern. Purpose almost always emerges at the intersection of three specific things. Not one of them alone, not two of them. The intersection of all three. I call them the three convergences. Understanding all three and beginning to identify where they exist in your own story is one of the most important things you will ever do. Convergence 1, your pain. I want to start with the one that surprises people the most. Because when we think of purpose, we usually think of gifts, talents, strengths, passions. We think of what we are good at or what we love. We do not usually think of what we have suffered. But the most consistent pattern I have observed, across every biography of a purposeful life, across every story of someone who found their calling, is this. The things you have suffered most deeply are often the very raw material from which your most profound purpose is forged. Your pain is not just your story, it is your qualification. Let me explain why this is true, not just philosophically, but practically. When you sit across from someone who is in the middle of the darkness you have already walked through and come out the other side of, you offer them something that no degree, no training, no amount of knowledge can fully replicate: the credibility of shared experience. The person who has never experienced depression can be deeply sympathetic about it. They can say all the right words. But the person who sat in that darkness themselves, who knows the weight of it from the inside, who knows the specific texture of that particular hopelessness, and who found a way through, speaks with an authority that is simply not available to those who only read about it. They are not just giving information, they are giving testimony. And testimony has a power that information alone does not possess. What your pain has uniquely prepared you for. Think about the hardest thing you have been through. Not abstractly, specifically. The loss, the failure, the addiction, the broken relationship, the financial devastation, the illness, the season of depression or profound loneliness, the betrayal, the grief that you were not sure you would survive. Now ask yourself this question, and I want you to sit with it, really sit with it, before you move on. The pain question: who is out there right now in the exact darkness I have already walked through? What would my story, my presence, my wisdom, my testimony mean to them? Especially in the moments when they are most convinced that no one could possibly understand what they are experiencing. Because there is someone, there are many someones. People who are in the early pages of the chapter you have already finished. People who desperately need to know that the story does not end where they are currently standing. People who need not just the hope that things get better, but the evidence of someone whose life is that proof. Your pain is not a disqualification from purpose. It is not a detour away from purpose. For many of you, your pain is the doorway to your purpose. The wound that became the wellspring. The thing you survived that became the thing you were meant to serve. The most impactful counselors are often people in recovery. The most powerful addiction programs are often built by people who have been through addiction. The most transformative advocates for justice are often people who have experienced injustice. The most genuine voices on grief are often the ones who have grieved. This is not coincidence. This is a pattern embedded in the very nature of meaningful human life. What was meant to break you may have been preparing you all along to hold someone else up. Convergence 2, your passion. The second convergence is the one most people think of first when they think of purpose. And yet most people have been subtly taught to dismiss it as impractical or dangerously idealistic. Passion. What genuinely, authentically, consistently lights you up from the inside. Not what you think you should love. Not what makes sense logically, or what pays well, or what would make your parents proud. What actually, in the honest quiet of your own soul, engages you. What makes you lose track of time. What conversation makes you come alive in a way that other conversations do not. What subject could you read about for hours and feel energized rather than drained at the end? Why passion is not optional. I want to address a mindset that many people carry, particularly people raised in environments where practicality was the highest virtue. That passion is a luxury. That it is a nice thing to have if you are fortunate. But responsible adults build lives around stability and provision, not feeling. I understand where this mindset comes from, but I want to offer a reframe. A life completely disconnected from what genuinely engages you is not a safe life. It is a slowly depleting life. Because the energy required to keep showing up, to keep building, to keep serving with excellence over the long arc of a life, that energy has to come from somewhere. And passion is one of the most renewable energy sources a human being has access to. Without it, you run on borrowed energy. Discipline alone, obligation alone, and willpower alone are finite resources. They are depleted by use and must be constantly replenished. But when you are working in proximity to something you genuinely love, when the work connects to something that matters to you not just strategically but personally, a different quality of energy becomes available. The kind that regenerates from the work itself. The goal is not to turn every passion into a career overnight. The goal is to stop treating what genuinely engages you as a distraction, and to start treating it as data about who you were made to be. For some of you, your passion is obvious. You have always known. You have just been waiting for someone to give you permission to take it seriously. For others of you, the signal has been muffled by years of practical choices and other people's expectations. Finding your passion requires a different kind of work, not just permission, but excavation. Here are 4 excavation questions. Write your honest, unfiltered answers. Do not edit them through practicality or logic. Just answer. Question 1. What were you doing when you last completely lost track of time? Not enjoyed something. Fully, genuinely forgot that time was passing? Question 2. What injustice or problem in the world makes something rise up in you that says, someone needs to do something about this? Question 3. If you were financially secure and had no obligations, what would you spend your hours learning, building, or doing? Question 4. What do friends and people who know you well consistently come to you for? What do they recognize in you before you recognize it in yourself? Your answers to these 4 questions are not random. They are signals. Pay attention to them. Convergence 3. Your people. The third convergence is the one that transforms purpose from a personal experience into a mission. Because purpose is never ultimately about you alone. It is always, at its deepest level, about who you are called to serve. And this is the question that identifies your people. The people question: whose struggle moves me to want to do something? Whose pain calls something out of me that I cannot stay neutral about? When I hear their story, or see their reality, or understand their challenge, what rises up in me that says, I need to be part of changing this? Your people are not defined by demographics alone. They are the people whose pain activates something in you that does not activate for anything else. The people whose struggle you cannot not respond to. Recognizing your people. For some of you, your people are obvious. The moment you encounter their story, something shifts in your chest. A sense of this is where I belong. This is what I am for. For others, the recognition is quieter. More of a pattern over time than a single moment of clarity. The kinds of stories that consistently move you. The kinds of struggles you find yourself researching and following even when it has nothing to do with your career. Here are some examples to open your thinking. Example patterns: children failing in schools that do not see them. Young men navigating life without fathers or healthy mentorship. Women rebuilding identity after relationships where they were never truly known. Entrepreneurs in underserved communities with brilliant ideas but no access to knowledge. People in recovery trying to rebuild a life. Elderly people who are isolated. Refugees navigating a new world. Young people without financial literacy falling into cycles their parents were in. None of these is more important than the others. None is more purposeful than the others. They are all someone's calling. And in many cases, the people whose calling it is are the people who were once on the other side of that very struggle. Which is why the first convergence, your pain, is so inextricably linked to your people. When you begin to see where your pain, your passion, and your people intersect, when you hold all 3 and look at where they overlap, you will see something emerge. Not always with perfect clarity, but a direction, a sense of this. This is the space I was made to inhabit. This is the problem I was uniquely, specifically, non-accidentally equipped to be part of solving. And when you begin to move toward that intersection, even imperfectly, even without having the whole map, you will feel something shift, a sense of rightness, of alignment, the specific quality of energy that comes from running your own race, on your own track, toward your own destination. At the intersection of your pain, your passion, and your people, that is where your purpose lives, not as a finished answer, but as a direction. And direction is all you need to begin. Everything I have shared until now is the framework, the map of the territory. But a map is not the journey. And the most important question in any conversation about purpose is not, what is it? It is, what do I do with it now? The permission you have been waiting for. I want to say something that some of you have been waiting your entire adult life to hear. And I want to say it as directly and as clearly as I possibly can. You have permission. Permission to take your own sense of calling seriously. Permission to invest in what lights you up even before you know exactly where it leads. Permission to start serving in your area of passion even if it does not yet pay. Even if no one is watching. Even if it is small and feels almost embarrassingly humble compared to the vision you carry inside. You do not need a platform to begin walking in your purpose. You do not need a large audience, a business plan, or the endorsement of everyone in your life. You need one step in the right direction. Today, starting small is not thinking small. One of the greatest misunderstandings about purpose is the idea that beginning with something small is a sign that the purpose itself is small. That if you are truly called to something significant, the beginning should look significant. But every significant thing in human history began small. And not just small, quietly, unsexy, unimpressive, almost embarrassingly modest. Martin Luther King Jr. did not begin with the March on Washington. He began with a local bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama, an act of local, specific, immediate resistance that no one at the time knew would become the catalyst for a movement that changed a nation. Every great organization began as a conversation between 2 or 3 people. Every great book began as a private thought on a private page. Every great business began as a tiny, imperfect first version. Every great movement began with one person willing to say, "This is wrong, and I am going to do something about it," before anyone was listening. The size of the beginning is not a measurement of the significance of the calling. It is simply the beginning. The first step principle. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You need to take the first step. And when you are standing on the first step, the second step becomes visible. That is how the path is revealed, not from the destination looking back, but from the beginning looking forward. The courage it actually requires. I want to be honest with you about something. Walking toward your purpose is not always easy. It is not always accompanied by clear confirmation or warm reception or the enthusiastic support of everyone around you. Sometimes it is lonely. Sometimes it looks wrong from the outside, especially in the beginning, when the direction is clear. Some of you will tell the people closest to you what you feel called to, and they will not understand. Not because they do not love you, but because they cannot see the blueprint yet. They can only see what is visible now. And what is visible now does not yet match the scale of what you have been given to see. That is not a sign to stop. That is the test that every purposeful life must pass. The willingness to be faithful to what you have been shown before anyone else can see it. Every person who has ever walked fully into their purpose had to pass through a season of being misunderstood, underestimated, or unseen. That's purpose and provision, addressing the practical concern. I know what some of you are thinking right now, and it is a legitimate, important, honest concern. The practical question: this all sounds meaningful, but how do I pay my bills? How do I move toward my purpose while still meeting my real-world obligations? Are you asking me to quit my job and leap into uncertainty? No, I am not. Purpose and provision are not enemies. And moving toward your purpose does not require a dramatic, immediate, all-or-nothing sacrifice of your financial stability, particularly when you have people depending on you. What it requires is direction and consistent movement, even if the movement is slow, even if the steps are small, even if the work toward your purpose happens in the margins of your current life, before work, after work, on weekends, in the hours that are currently spent passively consuming rather than actively building. Start with 5 hours a week. 5 hours consistently applied to the direction of your purpose. Learning, serving, building, creating, compounds over months into something real, something visible, something that creates the conditions for larger investment later. The goal in this season is not to abandon your responsibilities. The goal is to stop spending all your discretionary time as though you had no calling to pursue. You do not have to quit your job to begin your calling. You just have to stop spending every free hour as though your calling doesn't exist. I want to stop here and speak to a specific person. You know who you are. You have listened to everything in this episode, the 3 convergences, the questions, the framework, and you are still sitting with a quiet uncertainty. Because when you ask yourself about your pain, or your passion, or your people, you do not get a clear signal. You get noise, or silence, or a vague feeling you are not sure you can trust. And there is a part of you beginning to wonder whether you are the exception, whether maybe purpose is something other people have, people whose stories make sense, whose callings seem obvious, and whether the fog you are experiencing is itself an answer. I want to speak to that uncertainty with honesty, not a quick reassurance, because you deserve a real answer, not a comfortable one. What the fog usually means. In my observation, the fog that people experience around purpose is rarely a sign that they have no purpose. It is almost always a sign of one or more of the following. The first, they are looking for the wrong kind of signal. They are waiting for certainty when purpose arrives as direction. They are waiting for the full picture when purpose reveals itself one step at a time. They are waiting for external confirmation when purpose begins as an internal inclination. The second, they have not yet done sufficient inner work. Some people are living at such a distance from their own interior life, so consumed by the noise of the external world, so habituated to performance and busyness, that the signal is present but cannot be heard through the volume of everything else. The third, they are in a season of formation that precedes clarity. Purpose is not always revealed on our schedule. Some people's callings require a longer period of preparation, of building character, developing skills, gathering experience, healing wounds, before the direction becomes clear. The fog is not the end of the journey. It is part of the journey. We have been together for a while now, and I want to close by saying something that I mean with everything I have. You were not placed on this earth by accident. You were not born into this moment of history by coincidence. You did not acquire the specific experiences, the specific wounds, the specific capacities and passions and sensitivities that you carry randomly. There is a thread in you, a specific, singular, irreplaceable thread that the tapestry of the world needs. Not the thread of someone more famous, more gifted, more certain. Your thread, yours specifically, the one that only comes from your particular story, your particular pain, your particular way of seeing and feeling and loving and serving. No one else in the history of the world has had exactly your thread to offer. And if you never fully give it, if you keep it rolled up inside you, kept safe, unexpended, then the world is specifically, measurably, permanently missing something it was meant to have. The world does not need a perfect version of you. It does not need a finished version of you. It needs the real you, showing up with what you actually have, moving in the direction you actually feel called, serving the people who actually need what only you can give. That is purpose, not a platform, not a title, not a number of followers or a revenue figure or a stage. A life lived in the direction of its deepest call, day by day, step by step, with imperfection and uncertainty and the kind of faithfulness that does not require certainty to keep going. That life is available to you, not someday, not after you are more ready or more healed or more qualified. Now, beginning today, with one step, find your thread and begin to weave. Before you close this video, I want you to do one thing, just one, but it is important. Take out your phone or a piece of paper and spend 10 minutes on the 3 convergences. Write honest, unfiltered first responses, just notes, just impressions, to these 3 questions. Your purpose inventory, my pain. What is the hardest thing I have been through, and who could I help because of it? My passion, what genuinely lights me up, and when do I feel most fully alive? My people, whose struggle moves me to want to do something. You do not need complete answers. You just need to begin the conversation with yourself. Because the most important dialogue about your purpose is not the one you have with anyone else. It is the one you have with the truest, most honest version of yourself. Then, drop a comment below. Share one word that describes the direction you feel pulled toward. Just one word. Your people are in this community, and sometimes hearing someone else name their direction is the exact permission you needed to take your own steps seriously. Share this video with one person who is searching, who is sitting with that low hum of something missing and does not yet have the language for what it is. Send it without a long explanation. Just send it. And subscribe for episode 4, because next we are talking about something that touches every area of your life, whether you want it to or not. Money. Not tips and tricks, the deep mindset conversation, the beliefs underneath the behaviors, the poverty thinking that keeps people stuck regardless of income, and the culture of wealth that makes genuine financial freedom possible. You do not want to miss it. Your purpose is real. It is waiting, and you are more ready than you think.